Cool. Thank you so much, everyone. We got John Dobson and Ruhan Nel. Mobeen's got his hand up already. Go for it.
Hi, good evening, Dobbo. Good evening, Ruhan. Well done, guys. Just perfect start to the new year, Dobbo. Great statement made, 35-0. Got a bonus point as well on a Friday night with a good crowd as well. I think couldn't have started the new year on a better note.
No.
It's a perfect start.
No, it probably is. There are also no injuries at a time when we thin in some areas. Super proud of Ruhan and the team because we had a plan. It had to be a slightly different plan to the normal Stormers plan. Just by if you work out how our game model is. So it was be about hard work and intensity, physicality, sticking to a plan. And I'm absolutely super proud and grateful to them because that's a magic performance. Because I think I said yesterday, we sat in these press conferences, you ask how you're going to fit Warwick, Damien, Marnie and Sasha into the same team. And then we do this, and that's really credit to these players. So it's special. And I think performance like this, I just say to the people of Cape Town, this is a special team to get behind, Hopefully next week come and watch this team because I think there's something really nice brewing in them.
Dobbo, just the last one as well. Scrummaging, you guys were absolutely excellent tonight. I don't think you guys were once backwards and it's going forward only. Just on that, you must be really chuffed with that scrummaging.
The scrum culture is so important to us, and I think it's a really credit to Shim, Brocky, and the Rita. We from this time last year we had guys who like Stephen Kitsoff and Frans Maherbe, and now if I'd said to you Ollie Reid and Zach Porthen and Vernon Matongo, who was the man of the match there afterwards, it's remarkable the culture of scrumming that we're doing. I mean the Leinster team today was 270 international caps, like 12 or 13 internationals. I don't remember the stat. 13. Yeah, we were 4 internationals and 13 caps, and to us the scrum. Yeah, so back to your point about the scrum. And that's without, so without Tooks, without Ali, without Sazi, without Frana. I'm forgetting somebody, another big prop, but it's remarkable that we got this sort of depth in those youngsters. Ollie Reid wasn't even writing matric, and you see the picture at the end on the stand there, him and his dad hugging, both visibly sobbing. Makes you so proud to be a Stormer, a part of the Stormer family.
JP?
Ruhan, last year defense was a challenge. Spoke about it, we saw it. You back in the mix. Maybe to the people of Cape Town. What does it take to run a defensive system? What is it about? Because we don't always see you smashing and making big hits, but the system, let's not fool ourselves. This is a Leinster team, one of the best attacking teams in the world. System, keeping the ball, but you guys somehow smothered them. Maybe just you don't have to give but just something. How does it take? What does it take? Because something was working tonight. 35-0 against Leinster.
Yeah, look, well, it's no secret, I'm pretty sure every single team is gonna talk like this, but everything starts at the contact point, So I mean, it's a big thing for us. Our forwards in between the 15s to really put in some really big hits for us. It makes our jobs out wide so much easier to pick up numbers, So if any team that's defending wants a slow ruck to defend against, and any team's attacking wants a quick ruck to attack with. So I think credit to the boys and the inside, it starts there, which makes our job so much more easier. So, like you said, Leinster's got a very sophisticated attack. They always got one guy trying to go short out the back, trying to catch you out with numbers. So once our forwards are doing a proper job in the middle, us outside backs, they can actually have some accurate communication going inwards, to try and paint or actually try and tell them actually what we're seeing, who they need to check, and we can actually smother them from there. So credit to the boys. I thought they were really disciplined. Big thing for Leinster is obviously entries into the 22 is penalties. I thought our penalty count was great tonight. We had a crack at it when we need to have a crack, and other times we just remained, patient, waited for them to almost hang themselves there.
Dobbo, you spoke about the game model. We could clearly see there's something different. Yeah. Attack was going well. Just on the game model, and then your maul. I'm just going to go back to previous conversations because you get a lot of flack. People ask you a lot of questions about your coaching staff and what's happening, but the maul is very dynamic. 2 maul tries against Leinster. Just on that, and then Siabelo Sinatla. The week on the wing, man of the match performance a year ago. Would he play rugby again? Is he out of the game? Just some feedback on those things because it's very important that we get this out because something doesn't just work. There's somehow a process.
I let Ruhan talk to Siabela because there's the salt and pepper. It's but on the mall, I give Rita because we did stall. So we had a thing called the El Toro, which 2 or 3 years ago, and we scored. I think Rita showed it the other night, didn't he? In the 26 games, we scored more tries than 23, and it really worked. Remember, and we've stalled the last 2 years, and we watched our conversion rate at 22 drop, and we watched our malls, go from 4 out of 10 down to sort of 1 out of 10, 10%. And Rita's done incredibly. He's come up with a new. I won't go into the detail now but he's come up with a new product. And it was sensational in SVD against the Sharks and really good tonight. So, and that's just a product of Rita working hard, and we're really, really pleased with Rita.
Yeah. Look, guys, I can probably write books about Ciabello, and that's not even about rugby. But I think performances, if I think back to our quarterfinal performance against Glasgow, Ciabello was one of the few guys who really stood out for me that game. I didn't play, but I watched next to the side. Tonight, obviously, he was so brave getting to the air. I think my challenge to the team was, can we be relentless for 80 minutes? And I think Ciabello's intensity that he brought to the field was exceptional. A leader out wide, wing, sometimes when you play test rugby, you don't get a lot of exposure, don't touch a lot of balls, so it's a lot of dirty work, chasing kicks. But I think the work Ciabello had to put in to get back to where he is, it's exceptional. I don't even think I can sit here and chat to you guys for 2 hours, 3 hours, and I don't think I'll be scratching the surface. Mentally, what he had to go through, the person, the life decisions he made, how to change and how to be a better person, all of that, to be where he is today. So I'm just so happy for him. I'm so proud of him, and hopefully he will still reach some pretty big highs in his career.
Just last question from my side, Dobbo. Simelani on fullback. We all expected Warwick Geland, and we expected
so did I.
the youngster. But just on his performance, because has he ever played fullback? Things worked somehow?
I'll stand correction where he has played. It's certainly not with us. He has played 1 or 2.
Yeah, I actually think at the Bulls he might have had a couple of runs at fullback. Yeah,
but no. Look, Warwick injured. Obviously, Sasha and Damien not here. JC Mars injured. We didn't have. It was the last man standing, and to be honest, he would have started at 13, and this is why I'm impressed, which is his favourite position. Ruhan would have captained us from 12, because Dan hasn't played. We had 4 guys hadn't played a minute today, which is remarkable. Like Netlin Fischer and Dan, and so anyway. So Awandi was really happy to move to the back for the team, and I thought he did well. I think it's there's nobody like Warwick Geland or those other guys, so it's a learning. We mustn't get too complacent. I think the teams, we've got work to do there in covering backfield. That's why I'm so grateful for Ciabello, because of his work ethic. But he did bloody well. He did it for the team. He's a 13, and he did it for the team. It was great.
Ethan.
You look quite comfortable speaking to the ref on the field. Were you comfortable? Were you nervous leading out this team, especially against Leinster?
No, I think, with guys like Nietz at the front, and obviously he's captained the team before, JD in the lineouts. Dupi next to me there was also captain last year, so I think there was enough leadership around me to actually guide me through, and then obviously we just put some processes in place there, so get the penalty, ask how the forwards are feeling, and then based on that we make our decisions. I think the ref was really great tonight. He was accommodating both captains, willing to listen actually, and consider our points that we were making towards him, so we can't complain. Obviously we would have liked for those 2 tries to be allowed in the first half, but once again TMO did a great job to actually pick that up, and I think in the second half actually he picked up a couple for us as well, that they flagged, and we actually got a good result from that as well. So pretty comfortable, but credit once again, it's not a one-man show. Doing it at 13, you can be pretty isolated away from the scrums. And I know Netis and them were frustrated once or twice there with the scrums. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but once again, you just chat to the ref and you say, listen, Netlin will be chatting to you about the scrums in the front, so please just have a listen to him. So, great leaders on the field, which actually makes your jobs a bit easier.
And then your own performance, maybe you can chip in here as well. You had a lengthy injury layoff last season, and you were frustrated by it. But how do you feel about your return and how you did on the program?
Yeah, I think great, obviously getting through 80 minutes, it's I think your most valuable commodity in the game is to be available. So pretty happy, got through game 1. We're just taking it week by week. When I actually said in the week, I'm never going to be the guy that's your flashy stepper. I think one of your biggest strengths in the team is if every guy exactly knows his role and his strengths and they play according to that. And so I'm pretty happy with my performance for the first game of the season. Obviously, we're looking to build momentum personally and then as a squad as well. So no complaints.
Cool. We've got Kieran next.
Ruhan, just when that scuffle broke out just before the hour mark, what was the message to the team? Did you have a moment to maybe just realize, is this because of a bit of frustration from Leinster's side?
Yeah, that, and I think obviously that the boys felt, that we were probably getting under their skin, and especially the forwards, they felt that we could have gotten a bit more reward. Like I said, I wasn't exactly sure what was happening in the front. My message just to them was, listen, we're 3 scores up, let's not give the ref a reason to maybe turn against us. The 50-50 calls, he'll probably swing at Leinster's way. Not saying that he would have, we just don't want to give him a reason. So my chat to them was just, listen, boys, we're 3 scores up, let's not lose focus, let's not lose our cool, just continue to stick with the plan that we've had, because obviously up until that point it's been working. So if they're getting frustrated, it means that we're doing something right. And I just tell them, listen, I don't want you to back off, just be smart about the way we react. So once again, like I said, it's credit to the boys, because I actually felt they did just that.
And then just before you really scored this try, he was stricken. Was that a bit of a cramp, or was that a signal for some sort of free play?
You're joking. It sounds like something a Chiva would do. No. Yuri was cramping. So if you actually see when Clinton came on, he actually started to kick to touch, because Yuri was obviously, if you're kicking, he was scared that he's gonna cramp up again. So no, it was just a bit of cramps. Moegspieren.
Okay, we've got John and then Marco.
Over 6-0 at half time, you always feel you're on top. I know a very narrow scoreline. Leo Cullen called it a stranglehold after half time. Did it feel like that to you? Because it's from the 60th minute, it seemed to you guys raced.
Yeah, it's a good question, John, because that's exactly how we felt it. I was normally, when you get to half time 6-0, a first half performance like that, you're frustrated because you reckon that. I don't think the Maul try should have been overturned, because I think they were very clever the way they pulled Andre around. But I was frustrated that, you're normally frustrated that you're not 20 up, because I think such was our dominance, certainly territorially. But actually, there was a feeling around they're going to break, and it wasn't that sort of sap yourselves. It wasn't, was it, Ruhan? The guys were absolutely confident. So it felt like this is the process. And Nietlin was actually speaking at half time to the forwards. The guy, it's not the first blow of hitting the Rockets, the 100th blow, but so that was the conversation.
Sorry, did you really believe that you would keep them to 0?
I think you could speak to that.
The defense shaped in the...
Yeah, look, I think obviously the 2 yellow cards helped us. Definitely, especially with Leinster, like they're trying to get numbers around the ball, so 2 less numbers makes our decisions a bit easier on defence, So, look, it's not every day that you keep Leinster to a 0. So, Norman, we already reminded Norman about the donuts on Monday. But no, like I said, it's they really are a quality outfit. I said to the team, don't underestimate how good of a win this is. So very happy with the 0. Obviously, we're trying to keep teams to 0. So any day we can achieve that, we'll take that.
Cool, Marco.
The Leinster coach, he spoke a little bit about, he was actually a lot at a loss for words for this performance by Leinster, and he spoke a little bit about its early draws and maybe the first game. On the other side of that is the Storm's this performance tonight. Are you a little bit perhaps ahead of the curve in terms of what you would have thought the first game would be?
I mean, definitely, I didn't expect that. I mean, I think there's some broke bookmakers tonight. No, but none of us saw that. But I thought there might be. They put a really strong team out. And now we all know that there are 14 British and Irish Lions missing in Eche's name, and they're probably the most exceptional team in the world to be able. That's the model, is to be able to have 2 teams. But as I said, there are 270 international caps out there, and we knew this would be a really, it's like it was going to be a very, very tough game. But some of me did think maybe the other day we saw their game against Cardiff, which is their friendly, and then they're coming to us, and maybe they're going to find their feet and see where they are. But we absolutely no different. As I said, Dan Dup hasn't played, Evans played a half, Nietlin hasn't played a scrum, hasn't taken. I can name guys on just 20 or 30 minutes. That Sharks game we made 13 changes at half-time, was unrecognisable. So we did get a few guys, a great comeback for him against the Boelang game. So we didn't know where we were either, but short answer, I didn't expect that. So I do, of course, have some latitude for Leinster that they always know they're going to be at the sharp end of the competition. They're not going to be judged on game 1. they still put out a really strong team. And I thought they were we felt as a bit like I felt in the first half, to John's point, the way they were sort of trying to frustrate us, at the scrum, the way they were defending the mauls, they were almost trying to manage. You could see what they're trying to do. Typical Leinster: grind you, be efficient, wait for us to make a mistake, get the entry of a penalty, get the maul, suddenly it's 6-7. You know what I mean? And they were really trying to manage us, and I thought that's credit to us that we sort of battered them so much.
But it's just in terms of all of that, in terms of the belief for this Storm side, knowing that you can have performances like this, does that stand you good stead going forward into this?
It's massive, because to me there's not one moment in that game where I think, we were lucky, or there was a flash, or one of those crazy bits of Sasha or Marnie magic that we you just think Warwick magic. You think, where did that come from? And we take the credit in the coach's box. I thought that was around intensity, sticking to a plan, discipline, leadership. So we can, and those qualities that we showed are something we can please. Ruhan just spoke about in the change room now. Every week, I can't please speak to a Warwick offload that's good like that. That sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. But this was a lot about process, and that's what we can really. So I think this is a base for us, and that's why I say, people at Cape Town should come and watch us next, because this team, without those players, without any sort of magic, without the ball bouncing for us tonight, just won this game like this, so it's good.
And Dobber, just on that as well, next week we play Ospreys now. The last time Ospreys came here,
they beat us.
I was going to say that's probably the worst performance we've
100%.
seen in 4 years. So
100%.
Is that motivation going for next week? Like, you have to unfinished business.
Well, listen, we've got our last 3 games. Ospreys are loss, draw, loss, or draw, loss.
We only beat them in the first season.
Yeah, so it's pretty poor. So no, that's Ospreys defeat at home goes down one of our lowest points. Dobson, 9 as you would leave the stadium. So. Sorry, cut that out. No, I'll be up for this game.
We've got any other questions? We good?
Thanks, boys and girls.
Thanks, guys.